It's the political dead duck. It's August 9, 2009. This one is going out to Atlas, Shrugs, Vlogs, Libel, Blogging, yeah. Link up in the left-hand corner. She put out a pretty good video. You know, she's got fire and she's got ice, and she puts off a good show. I enjoyed her video, but when she got to the end of it, she said, and this is quite controversial, I know, she said Israel carried out the most humane war imaginable. And she said how they call the people, which is correct. And we got the president at the time doing an interview where he says they made 250,000 phone calls in 22 days. Now what she doesn't say is that Israel drove all these people outdoors. You can think about this: 250,000 houses, buildings that they bombed. Now, not only did they bomb it, when the people ran outdoor, they dropped 155mm shells down on top of them. They dropped, and they got a 900-foot kill radius. That's 3 football fields. So when she says they were humane and they told them to go outdoors, we're going to bomb your house with the mortars in it. Well, she forgot that that's what happened. She didn't realize that she just spoke out in defense of Israel. And I used to always like Israel, but after watching the war and studying it and researching it and going through all the scholars, I found out they used depleted uranium on every single building. Now, that means every single building there has to be removed. 900 feet around the building, 4 inches of topsoil has to be removed. They have to remove the topsoil of all of Gaza. You just can't do it. You can't remove every building. Israel used dime bombs. Now, we never even seen that before. It shoots out micro chunks of metal, the micro size, and surgeons' knives will do more damage trying to get the shrapnel, whatever kind of shrapnel it happens to be. We don't really know. We've never seen this bomb before. It blows the legs off people. Israel used white phosphorus over the civilians, made phone calls, drove them outdoors, and dropped white phosphorus down on top of them. This is a chemical. The depleted uranium and the white phosphorus, that's going to give people extraordinary blood disorders, carcinogenic diseases, contaminates the land, the soil, the air, the water for tens of thousands of years. The depleted uranium is supposed to be put in a sarcophagus for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. So when she says they were humane, they shouldn't even been in the war at all. If they didn't take the land, there wouldn't have been no rockets coming out of Gaza. If they didn't come in constantly steal land, if they didn't constantly prison planet that area, that's been a prison planet, a blockade on that area. And she doesn't say none of that. And I really liked her. I'm disappointed that she picked sides like that. If she'd done any looking at all, she would have known. And I'm like, I'm still not covering the bombs. Israel used bombs with darts in it. This is illegal. This is against the Geneva Conventions. The dart goes in the shoulders, runs over the other shoulder, down the body, and out the knee, out the leg, you know, out the fingertips. Goes in one side of the body and out the other, and makes big curving, hooking, all damaged, ripping everything apart all the way through. Depleted uranium, contaminated that now for the next tens of thousands of years. They've been blockaded for years, and they wouldn't have been into this big fight if Israel wasn't just constantly grabbing land and shooting and killing people, arbitrarily speaking. This is the political dead duck.
But what's even more alarming is that the McAllister bomb factory in Oklahoma, McAllister, Oklahoma, was applying for relicensing at the NRC in order to be able to continue manufacturing DU weapons. And in order to maintain level 1 status, which they have to do to get relicensed, they must be able to ship 1,600 tons of depleted uranium weapons a day. That's 166,000 Nagasaki bombs of radiation. It's 20 train car loads of DU going out of that factory every day. It's only one of 4 U.S. Army bomb factories. And altogether, at all 4 bomb factories at any one time, they are allowed by the NRC to have up to 44,000 tons of DU on site. That's 4.5 million Nagasaki bombs. Well, we wanted to find out how much DU was being manufactured in the U.S. because we suspected the U.S. was using a lot more. Now, one of the Japanese physicists who came to our Hamburg conference calculated that 800 tons of depleted uranium, if it's released into the air, is the atomicity equivalent, or the equivalent number of radioactive atoms, as 41,000 Nagasaki bombs. We have released over 250,000 Nagasaki bombs, equivalent radiation, into our atmosphere. Does anyone in this room think that we are not using DU deliberately as a biological weapon?
Radioactive waste that came from the reprocessing of nuclear fuel. This is probably the most dangerous stuff on the planet ever. Very, very small quantities of this waste. And it's been said that a Dixie cup full of this waste in a crowded restaurant, everyone would be dead in the restaurant inside of an hour. Even the amount that would fit on the leg of a fruit fly is considered a problem dose, and that's happened at Hanford. Fruit flies have landed on contaminated materials and then flown off to go to the lunchroom and deposit contamination on food and on tables and whatnot, and they've had to evacuate a 20-acre area at the Hanford site because of hot fruit flies and wasps. So this waste in these tanks is very dangerous in small quantities, and it has another feature, which is it's dangerous for very, very long periods of time. And the great bulk of it is dangerous for hundreds of years by volume, but it doesn't matter because the volumes are so huge, 55 million gallons in these tanks. So even if you have 5 pounds of plutonium, that stuff is dangerous for 250,000 years. Some elements are dangerous for millions of years. So you've got a situation where you have to take these wastes and somehow keep them away from the living environment for many years.
Human Rights Watch observers have seen white phosphorus being used over Gaza City and over the Jabalia refugee camp. These are heavily, densely populated areas. And, well, the other very inappropriate weapon that we've seen the Israelis using are these 155 millimeter artillery shells. To give you a sense of what happens, when these land, they can cause casualties within a 300-meter radius. You can just imagine taking 3 football fields, lying them end to end, and then turning them around the point. Anybody within that very large area risks injury, and within a smaller area risks death. These have been used in densely populated areas of Gaza. Again, if Israel claims that it is trying to avoid civilian casualties, that claim is inconsistent with its use of an indiscriminate weapon of this sort. But I think more to the point, Israel has prevented journalists and prevented human rights activists, monitors, from entering Gaza.